Hey everyone, my name's Tom from wpwithtom.com, and I'm going to teach you how to make a portfolio website. So before I get into this course, I just wanted to point out that this course is also free on udemy.com, and I'll leave the link below in the description if you want to watch it on there. There are a few lectures that I cut out and took out of the course, so I'd be able to put this on here in a little bit more of a condensed fashion. But if you want more information, or you want to view that course or have that course accessible on Udemy, you can just click the link below for the free course. Now let's dive into the course and get started. Hey everyone, before we get into the course here, I want to just show you a preview of what we're going to be making. And within this website, we're going to make just 3 pages: a home page, an about page, and a contact page. With this page here, the home page being the focus because this is a portfolio tutorial. And within this page, we're going to add different images, and I'll show you where to get free images. We're going to go over how to make a logo. We're going to also go over how to create the menu and how to make subtitles or subpages in the menu. We're going to also go over how to adjust how many posts go onto a page here. In this case, we have 16 on this page, and if we wanted to, we can reorder that or change the numbers and things like that of how many can actually go onto this page. We're going to go over how to archive our pages. So right now this is March 2016, at the end of March when I'm making this course, and if we had more posts from April next month, it would be April showing up here as well, and people that come to the site can click the archives and look for a particular post in each month. So we'll also have categories, which you can see here underneath the picture that shows how it says scenery uncategorized, for example. There's also landmarks, which I have for the picture of Paris here. And we also have other things like tags, and a tag is within a post. So example of that would be if we click on this fireworks image here, and we get to this page, here's the picture that we saw, and you can see that it's enlarged once we click on that photo. And we scroll down and we'll look, a tag here is fireworks. I also go over how to embed a video within our page, and we cover how to add a plugin that will give us these social sharing icons down here at the bottom, and it's completely free. All the plugins that we use in this course are free, and we do cover 7 different ones within this course. So if we wanted to, we can go to the About page here, and in this page I teach you how to add an image to the page that's not the featured image like we saw on the home page portfolio images here. It's actually an image within the actual page itself. And I show you how to adjust the image size very easily, how to add different headings. I go over how to add links within the page and many different aspects within the editing the elements here of the actual text for this dummy text that we're using here. Another thing we do is wrap the text around the image. And if we go to the contact page, we can add a contact form, and I show you how to quickly set this up. It's a very easy process with a plugin on here as well. And within this page, we can make different fields required if we want to, which I make all of them required to fill out, and choose the email address that it goes to. So that's about it. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to me, and I hope you're excited to start building this site with me. We're going to go over registering a domain name and setting up our hosting account. We're going to be using HostGator.com. That's HostGator.com, as you can see right here. When we get to the site, it's going to load a bunch of options. We're going to click the top left one that says Web Hosting. After we get to this second page, we're going to click Choose a Plan, this big yellow button, and it will just scroll us down a little bit. So if you want to scroll down, that's fine. And here we are brought to a section with 3 different types of plans. There's a hatchling plan, a baby plan, and a business plan. And it says now 30% off for all of them, but that's actually dependent on how long your plan is. That only applies to the 3-year plan. As far as this hatchling plan goes, it will host a single domain name. It has one-click installs, which they all do, and they all come with unmetered bandwidth and shared SSL certificates. The important thing to note here is a single domain name. I am highly against just getting a hatchling plan, because if you're anything like I was when I started designing websites, you're going to get one domain name and then maybe you'll get a second one and a third one, and you'll get really into it and you'll want to make a lot of different types of websites and things like that. And you don't want them all under one subdomain name or one singular domain name. I think it's much better to get a baby plan with unlimited domain names. And to be honest, the only thing that the business plan really offers that's better is a toll-free support number, but I don't really think that's quite necessary for this type of website and setting up your first few websites. I think it's just better to get in with a baby plan for a cheaper rate than the business plan. So what we're going to do is hit sign up now. Now we're brought to another page where we choose our domain name. I'm going to show you that there's a variety of extensions, as we talked about in the previous lesson. As you can see, there's .com all the way to biz and me and net and everything. I would highly recommend that you try to get a .com domain name, because it's the most memorable for people trying to find your website and to share it with others. By default, everyone thinks .com when they think of a website. So what you want to do is to check if the website name that you want is available. You'll type it in, and you can type in websitename.com, for example, and hit enter. And as it says, this is unavailable. But what it does is show me a list that are available with different extensions. Now, I don't really want a different extension, as I said. I want the .com. So another thing you could do is change the domain name to be something else. And I assume that one would be available, my website name123.com. Something to note is if you want to have hyphens in your domain name, you can, but you cannot have underscore characters. I would recommend against having hyphens and numbers in my domain name, but it's really up to you. I think shorter is better, and the more simple you can make it, the better for your customers or friends or whoever you're trying to share this website is to find. After you choose the domain name, you go down and it offers a lot of upsell type things. I'm going to not have the domain name privacy. With domain name privacy, it prevents people from looking up who owns that website and things like that, but I don't think many people really do that anyway. I don't think it's very necessary as long as you're not making an illegal website or something like that. As far as the packages go, this is our hosting package. Now it gives you multiple options. As you can see, we're clicked on the baby plan, which is the one we want. We want to leave that as baby. And here we are offered different terms. There's everything from 1 month with 20% off up to 6 months with 20% off, and there's 22% off for a 1-year hosting package. I wouldn't personally commit to anything longer than a year till you really know if this is something you want to do and you enjoy. I assume that most of you probably want to try a month and just try it out, see if it's for you. I also have a coupon code. I have 2 different coupon codes actually that can give you a better discounted rate than the 22% that they offer for a year, or any of these 20% discounts as well. To get started for the least, I think we're going to want to use a 1 month just so you can try it out, test the waters. And I have a coupon that will bring that price down from $9.56 a month to just 1 cent per month. What you want to do here is enter your personal information, your username, and a security PIN. I already have an account with HostGator, and I'm going to use a subdomain name for multiple websites I make, and a normal domain name for the first website that I create. So I'm not going to sign up for another account, but what you want to do is put your username and security pin here. Here is the billing information that you're going to need to fill out as well to complete the purchase. When we get down to here where it says for additional services, I'm going to uncheck everything that is checked in this section because these are all just kind of upsells that are not really necessary for you to get started, in my opinion. They have a coupon code of Snappy Day. If we're using a month membership, a month-long subscription, I mean, just to test the waters, see if it's for you, my coupon code to get it down from, to get the total down from $9.56 as we see here, bringing the total to $22.51. When we add in my coupon code, which is Udemy 1 cent start. That's Udemy 1 cent start. And it's number 1, not spelled out as you see here. And then we click validate. And the total should go down from $22.51. And there it is, down to $12.96 because our first month is 1 cent for the hosting. After that, it will be at a rate of, I believe, $9.96 or whatever, $9.56 or whatever it was. And then when we go down, we want to click, you can read the terms of service and cancellation policy and things like that. And I should note that there is a 45-day money-back guarantee for this. Now, after you've read this, you want to click I have read and agreed to the terms of service, and then you click Checkout Now. That's it for this section. We're going to install WordPress onto our website. Now, this isn't going to be the website that we'll be using in my course. However, the process is the same for any website. So what we'll want to do first is get to our hostgator.com your account info email. And once we go within that email, we'll see the Your Control Panel link, and we'll have to click that link and sign in with the username and password that they have made for us. Now, I will say, after you do that, you may want to reset the password or change it to something else like I have done. Now, once this page is loaded, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go down to where it says Quick Install. Now, if you purchased a domain name with a different provider but you're using HostGator, you will have to go through the add-on domain names and add that in there first. But for this lecture, since we've done this through HostGator and registered the domain name with HostGator, we can just go right into the Quick Install section here within the Software and Services area. So we'll click that link. And now, once we get to this page, we'll go to WordPress on the left side. And we'll go to Install WordPress within the free Install WordPress for Free area. Now we're going to populate this area right here with our information that we want. But first, before we do anything like that, we're going to have to make sure we have the right domain name selected. I have many domain names. Hopefully you just have one here on your list to add. And I'm actually going to add it for viewyoursitedesign.com. And this will be your blog title. We can change that at a later point. And your email we can also change for the administrator email once we're logged in. But this, the admin username, we cannot change, or you should not try to change. You can add on additional users at a later time if you want other people to have access to the back end of the site. But for this case, we want to keep this admin username as something we're easily going to be able to remember. After that, we're going to click Install WordPress, and we can X out of this pop-up. And once it's done running our installation, we'll click on where it says View Details. As you can see, it says your installation is complete. Click here to view your notifications. We'll click View Credentials right here. And we're going to need to copy and paste this information into another document. Now, after we do that, we should save that information because we're going to need this password to log in to the WordPress dashboard. And it may take a while for your websites to be activated. It could be a few hours. So I recommend that you definitely save this information because there's no way you're going to be able to remember that password for a few hours. And in the next lecture, we'll use that information to sign in to our WordPress website. We're going to log in to our WordPress dashboard, and we're going to go over how to change the password as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to want to log into this address right here. Yours will look different, but it has to have /wp-admin at the end. And I'm just going to go and click open link in new tab right here, right click and do that. And now we'll see that we have this interface right here showing. If we had done it right away when this was installed, it would probably show some kind of error. And you may notice right here it says username, password, remember me, and then here's a lost your password section, and it will email you the password to the email that you just put in on the previous page. So we're going to need to put in the username and password information, and that's right here is the password, and I know the username since it's my own name. And it is case sensitive, just so you know. So I'm going to just put in my name here, and I'll paste in the password, and we'll click login. I'm not going to click remember me now because we're going to change the password in a moment. Now, once we're in this area, the first thing I'm going to want you to do is go up to where it says, in the upper right it says your username here, and click edit my profile. Another option you can do is go click users and then go to your profile. But I like to go on the upper right and go to edit my profile. It's just my preference. And then when we get to this page, we can scroll down a bit, and here is the email that would be the recovery email. That's mine, but you have yours there that you've set up. And down here it says new password, and I'm going to click generate password, and I'm just going to delete that. I'll click to hide my password. And then after I input my new password, it says it's strong, and now I can click update profile. Now it will tell us that our profile has been updated right here, and if you want to, you can log out by going up here, hovering over it and clicking log out, and log back in just to make sure the password works, and in case it doesn't, make sure you have the correct email to be able to retrieve that password. And that's going to be it for this lesson, guys and girls. If you need any help, definitely feel free to reach out to me. We're going to go over how to install our free WordPress theme, and then we're also going to go over how to delete plugins that are unnecessary, some unnecessary content with a post and pages and things like that. So first let's go over here, and in this area of the dashboard, this has all different options that we can use, and we'll go through them as we progress through the course. But first let's go hover over appearance and then click themes. Now when you get to this page, you'll see that there's a few themes here, and these are old themes that come by default in WordPress. I'm going to actually click on this theme details button in the center and then click delete in the lower right here, and then I'll confirm it with OK. And now I'm going to go do the same thing on this and delete it in the lower right and click OK. And now when we're left with one theme left, which is the 2016 theme, that will be the only theme left, we cannot actually delete that because it has to have a theme available. And as you see here, it says 2016. Now what we can do though is click add new here at the top. And in this area of the website, it's actually something important that I want to show you. There's all different types of themes that you can get for free on here, and there are premium ones here as well. These are going to be paid themes. And this has a featured section here, and I believe it's just 15 like it says there on this page. So 15 featured themes, and these are free themes. And then there's popular themes, and I believe these are all free as well. And if you scroll down, there's some very good themes. I actually use Sydney, and I use Xeraflight in other courses that I have on Udemy. And there's a bunch of them that I've used before, like Human down there. So there's a bunch of good themes here. There's the latest, and these are the most recently published themes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to search for a theme called Gridster Light. That's Gridster Light. And once, you don't even have to hit enter, and once it comes up, we'll see the theme here, and you want it to look like this. It may have changed slightly from when you're seeing it, but it should look pretty much like this. And then you'll hover over it and click install, this blue button right here. Now when we get to this page, it will say successfully installed, and now what we have to do is click activate it to make it our main theme. I'm actually going to go back for a second, and I'm going to actually activate this one that we had, the 2016, just for a second to show you what it will look like. And if we go and we can either click visit site, but I'm going to click open in a new tab when I right click on it. And this is what the site looks like right now with the 2016 theme. Now when we go and we activate the Gridster Light, the one we just installed, and we go back here and we refresh it, we'll see a different look and feel to the theme. Now this is something important to point out, that the theme does look much different than what it looks like on this picture. Obviously we don't have any images on here yet and everything like that, and it does look quite different. The sidebar here looks the same, but that's about it really. So I just wanted to point that out to you, that it will look different than what you see there. You'll have to make edits to it to make it look better. Now I'm going to go and click theme details on this 2016 theme again, and I'll also delete that one and confirm it with OK. And now I will go over, now this is the featured one since it's only one theme, and now I will go over to where it says posts, and I'll just click on that posts right here. And this is a default post that comes with it. It says hello world. I'm going to go and hit trash on it, and then I will click the trash symbol with 1 next to it, and then I'll click delete permanently. That will actually permanently delete it off of here so it's not there anymore. Pages, I'll click on pages as well, and here I'm going to show you how you can delete multiple ones at once. You can go click in that and it highlights both. And in bulk actions here, we'll go move to trash and click apply. Now if we click on the trash, we'll see that both of them are in there. And again, I'm going to click on it so it highlights both. And then I'll go delete permanently and click apply. That's how you can modify multiple things at once. So sometimes there are comments in here, and there aren't in this case. So now we'll go down to where it says plugins, and we'll click on plugins. And plugins are kind of like apps for an iPhone or a smartphone or whatever. It kind of gives the website much more power. And I'm actually going to delete everything that's on here. So I'm going to again click up here. And in this case, I'm going to have to first go to deactivate. And I'll click apply. And now I'm going to have to go up here again. And I'll click delete, and then I'll click apply again, and it's going to ask me if I want to delete these, and I'm going to confirm that I want to delete all of these things here, all of these plugins. And after we've done that, we can again click on the plugins page just to make sure that's gone, and they are. And for now, that's all we're going to do in this lesson, because we just cleaned up the site a bit. In the next lesson, we're going to dive into starting to edit the theme and adding plugins, and we'll start configuring the settings. We'll really start getting into making the site look the way we want it to look. We're just going to run through some of the elements within the dashboard here on the left side. And we're also going to go into the settings and change a lot of the configurations within the settings section, which is a very important section within the dashboard. So to go over some things, up here is where we can actually go and visit the site to see the live site, which is what it looks like right here. Another thing we can do is we can go to the dashboard itself here. And this is kind of like the home area when you log in. if we actually add a plugin later in the course, we'll use it and access it within this dashboard area. It will be an analytics dashboard linked to WordPress, and that's going to be optional if you want to add that. I will be adding it within the course though. Down here, we can go to home here, and that's just the same link, and we can look at any updates within this area. But next, if we go to posts, posts is where we're going to, if we wanted to add a new post, we click add new, and that would be used as our blog, and all posts are going to be showed up as our blog posts, and we'll get into that in a second with our settings, but that's where you would make a blog post if needed. Here in the media section, if you wanted to add new images or video or something like that, even audio, you can add it within this media section here, and that's kind of like where your images would be stored. Kind of like on your computer, you might have a photos folder, and that's where it would be stored. That's kind of the same concept with this media library page. Here in the pages section, this is what will be the tabs for what will be like home, about, contact, blog. Each of those tabs will be a separate page, and we can do that by clicking adding new, which we're definitely going to cover in the course. Comments here. In this section, you can go through and see pending comments, approved comments. You can trash them, mark them as spam, all kinds of things like that. We'll touch on that again in the settings section down here. And this is the appearance section. We did go into this before when we add the theme, but it actually has a lot more features like customize. We can change some of the settings within the theme, that widgets, the menu where we can reorder our order for home, about, contact, things like that. We can reorder that, and we can set drop downs within this menu section. And the editor is kind of getting into the HTML, CSS, the PHP, some JavaScript in here as well. And we're probably not going to go into that within this course because it's a little bit more advanced, and this is a beginner's course. But that is where you would edit some of the code at. Here, the plugins section, which we were in already where we deleted some plugins. We're going to be adding plugins within this section, and we'll add helpful plugins that I use in a bunch of sites. Nearly every site that I make, I add in a lot of the same plugins because I really like them and I've become comfortable with them, and we'll go over that. Here is users, and this is where you could edit your profile and your password and things like that. Here, but you can also edit your password in here, edit my profile up in the upper right. Here, tools, and tools you can use import and export, but I actually like a plugin to do this a lot more because I found it works out so much better. And if you're curious about that, we may touch on that in this course. If not, you can ask me if I don't cover that. In the settings section where we're going to be working now, we'll just click on that tab, and here it says our site title, and then it says the tagline. If you hover over the actual site right here, you hover over it, it says just another WordPress site, just another WordPress site. And that is the site title and the tagline right there. So if you wanted to change that, you could change it to be my portfolio, for example. And just if we want to save that and see what it looks like, we can click Save Changes at the bottom. And now if we refresh, I'm going to X out of this page here. If we refresh, we'll see that it says My Portfolio, and then it will say just another WordPress site. Now we can change this and make it something else. For example, View My Beautiful Images. And we can trust that it's going to update right here. So I'm going to keep going down through these other settings for now. Here is our email address again. And this is our time zone. And I'm going to set this. I think this is an important thing to know if you're going to have a blog. If not, it's really not that important. I guess it could affect the analytics side of things. But it's really important if you do have a blog to set it up on a certain time, I think. So I put it for my time zone, which is UTC -4. This is if you have a membership, and I would just leave that as is for now. We're not going to get into memberships within this site. And here I actually, personal preference, I like to make this be a capitalized AM. And I like the week to start on Sunday. instead of Monday. This is all preference though. And then we'll click Save Changes to update any changes that we have. Next, we'll go into the writing part of the settings section. And in here, you can go over where your default post category is. And that's important in a way if you're having a blog. If you want, you can set this each time. Since we haven't made any other categories within our blog section, it's going to show up as uncategorized. But we can change that, and I will go over that when we cover some of the blog aspects. We're going to leave this as standard as well for now. So we don't have to change anything here. And we can go into reading. Reading is an important tab because we can choose how many blog pages show at most and the syndication feeds. And we can choose if we want the article to show the full text or a summary. And here is something that I do with a lot of these websites that I make. I discourage the search engines from indexing this site because this site that I'm making, in my case, is not a real site. It's just for this tutorial example for this training videos. So you would probably want to leave that unchecked if you are trying to rank that in search engines like Google and things like that. Then we'll click Save Changes if you've made any. Next, we'll go to Discussion. And in this area, it may be the most important part of the settings pages. And here we have a lot of options. This says the default article settings, and it will attempt to notify blogs linked from this article. And this has to do with a lot of linking things here. I usually leave all three of those checked. And then in the other comment settings, you can decide if the comment author must fill out name and email. I like to leave that checked. But if you leave this checked here, users must be registered and logged in to comment. If a user hasn't registered yet, they can't comment. And they need to be logged in to comment. That's something you may want to enable, and I will in this case. And I like to automatically close the comments that are older than a certain amount of time, but I usually make it a lot longer than 14 days, like 4 months in this example. And for nested comments, that's kind of like a comment inside of a comment, inside of a comment, inside of a comment, inside of a comment. That would be 5 right there. I'm going to make that only 3 because I think it looks very bad when it starts having all these threaded comments. And if you want to, you can change this, break comments into pages with 50 top level comments per page. I would be surprised if I even had 50 on a page. So I'm just going to make this 20 in this case. And here it goes, comments should be displayed with the older comments at the top, or you can make it the newer comments at the top. I want to leave it as older. And here it says email me whenever anyone posts a comment. A comment is held for moderation. Now, for a comment to be held for moderation, we must click that a comment must be manually approved. And here it says comment author must have a previously approved comment. So I'm going to actually uncheck that for this case. Now, in this comment moderation section, it says hold a comment in a queue if it contains 2 or more links. So if you don't want people spamming your site with links going elsewhere and things like that, I would lower this. I actually like to put it at 0 because if there's a link in a comment, I like to see what that link's for to make sure it's an appropriate link or a relevant link. Or, you know, some people might not want people linking off of their website to begin with because you want the people to stay on your own content and on your own website. So I think 0 is the way to go. And for this section down here, we have a comment blacklist. And this would be if you want to blacklist inappropriate comments, basically words that are inappropriate that you don't want showing up on your blog, that may be vulgar or racist or some kind of comments that are just not necessary to be on your blog. And I would make a list of them, of comments that you don't want to show up if it were me, but I'm not going to do that right now in front of you. And here we have avatars. We can choose to display the avatar and put our site rating. It's kind of like movie ratings right here. And you can choose different default avatars and things like that out of these below. I personally uncheck the avatars. I don't like displaying those. And I'll click Save Changes. And now after those changes are saved, I'm going to skip over media here and go right to permalinks. And in this section, I like to change the custom structure here of my link. If you look at what it looks like, it will say index.php and all this gibberish. It will say year, month, date, post name. I want it to show up, for example, so it would look like this. It will look like today is March 30th, so it'll be like 03.20.2016. And then all this gibberish here. I want it to just say about, for example, if it's an about page, or blog, or contact. That's all I want it to display. So I'm going to change these settings here. And what you can do is you can actually just highlight that and delete it. And what we needed to say here is %, post name, %. So we'll get rid of that part at the end. Again, that's %, post name, %. And now after you have it like that, we'll go down and click Save Changes. So after that's saved, you can see it says permalink structure updated at the top. That's going to be it for this section. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to me, but know that we're going to go through a lot of these sections as we progress through the course. We're just going to cover how to add pages to our menu. So we'll have a page that has home, about, blog, and contact in this case. If you want to add more pages, you can definitely do so. But here we'll be going over how to add the pages and also how to add sub pages and reorganize the pages to be in the particular order that you want within the primary menu. So the first thing that we're going to want to do here is we'll go to our login page. If you're not logged in, it will be your domain name /wp-login. We'll click login once we have our correct information to log into the dashboard if you aren't already. And now once we are here, what we'll want to do is go to where it says pages. And you can either click on pages itself or hover over it and then go to add new, because we are going to be adding a new page. And here is what you're going to title your page. So if we want to, we can add one just called blog, and we'll just click publish over here on the right side. Now we can go back up to the top and click add new again for a second page, and let's call this one about, and we'll again publish it on the right side with the blue button. Now we'll go back and click add new again, and here we're going to add a contact page, and we'll click publish again. Now what we can do is we'll go down to where it says appearance, and then we'll hover over that and go to menus. If you wanted to add more pages, you can do that within the pages add new section, but for this course these are probably going to be the only pages that we really cover. And you may notice that right here home is already here by default, and I just want to show you that it's different looking because it has a custom link, and this just says page. So something to note about that is if you look at what the custom link is, it's the link for our home page. And if you look at what the link is here, it would be /about. Right here would say /about when you look at that page. But for us, the home page will just say nothing after it. It will just be the link to our actual home page, our main domain name for the site. So that's something to keep in mind here. Sometimes when you make sites, it may not be in the structure at all, and you'll have to add that customly yourself, add a particular home page in the pages add new section. So that's just something to keep a note of. Now to create this menu, we're going to have to name the menu up here, and I always call mine main menu, and then I'll just click create menu. But the menu isn't actually done yet. We have to scroll down here, and we'll go and make this a primary menu in this case. So if we want to, we can save it like that. Now if we go back to here, we'll see right now we have only the home page, but when we refresh it, we now have an about page, a blog page, and a contact page. Now let's say you wanted to reorder those, or you wanted to have sub pages within this area. To reorder them, it's very simple. You just click on it and you can drag it. And you may notice that sometimes it goes like this, and that would actually make this a sub page of something else. So if we want the About section here and we want the blog to be a drop down or a sub page, we can do it like this and click to have it diagonal to where the About is and save it. Now to show you what that looks like, if we refresh, we'll see that it's a subcategory of it here. On most websites, it will not look like this. It will just have the About page only, and then when you hover over it, it will pop up with the blog page. So this is a little different than what you would normally see, but just know that you can make it a subcategory or a sub-item, as it says here, for that page. In this case, I'm going to move it over to the left, and I'm just going to leave it in this order: home, about, blog, contact. That's usually the order I would have this in. If you want to use a different order, that's up to you, and it's totally fine. And we'll again go and save the menu. So for this lecture, that's about all we're going to cover. And if you have any questions about setting up the menu, just feel free to reach out to me, and I'll do my best to get back to you quickly. We're going to install some plugins that we're going to use throughout this course, and we'll do that by going to Plugins and clicking that, or you can click Add New here. Now we'll click Add New here at the top, and the first one I'm going to add is Contact Form 7, and this is a great plugin to install on your site if you want a quick contact form. And we can then select this one right here with this mountain picture, and we'll click Install Now. Now we'll click Activate Plugin. Now we'll add another one by clicking Add New at the top here. And next I'm going to add a plugin called Access Press Social Share. Access Press should be one word, just so you know. And it's going to be this one with the red circle around the AP here. And we'll click Install Now. And what this plugin will do is it will have sharing icons show up below our pages, or at least below our blog posts if that's the only place we want them. Now here we'll go and click Add New again, and now we're going to search for a plugin called Limit Login Attempts. You can type in, and I'm going to click this one right here, this first one, and what that will do, it'll be a security measure, and this will prevent people from logging in with the incorrect information or someone hacking into the back end of our WordPress account dashboard. So we'll click Activate Plugin again here, and we'll go up and click Add New again. And in this one, we're going to add something called Yoast SEO. Yoast SEO, and we'll click Enter. And it's going to be this first one right here, Yoast SEO, and we'll click Install. And again, we'll click Activate. And the last one we're going to add for now, we're going to click Add New, and I'm going to add Google Analytics Dashboard. If you want to write dashboard, you can. If you write Google Analytics, it still should show up, just maybe not at the top. And we're going to need to scroll down. It's right here, this one, Google Analytics Dashboard. And we'll click Install Now, and we'll activate it. So for now, that's all we're going to need to do as far as installing the plugins go. Now I want to go over how to set up some of the plugins. Let's go through the limit login attempts here, and how we get to that is we hover over Settings and go to Limit Login Attempts, and here it says statistics about lockouts and things like that, but it also shows if we get locked out, we allow 4 retries. So that's how many times you're allowed to retry. 20 minutes lockout, and that's how long you'll be locked out for, is if you guess the password incorrectly 4 times, you'll be locked out for 20 minutes. So 4 lockouts increase lockout time to 24 hours. So in order to get locked out 4 times, you would need to guess a total of have 16 retries to be locked out for 24 hours. That would be pretty impressively bad if you did that. And then 12 hours until retries are reset. So you'd have to wait after this period of 24 hours I believe another 12 hours until the retries are reset, and then you'd have, I guess, another 16 attempts before you get to this point again. You can change these numbers. I actually like to lower it to be 3, and I generally lower this to be 15 minutes. If you get locked out 4 times, I think that's, pretty bad, and it should result in 24 hours. And I might change this to be like 6 or something, but really the numbers are up to you. Just remember that if you are locked out, you have the option to click Lost Your Password within the WP-admin page, this section here. If you went to that URL, you would be able to hit Lost Your Password, and it should be able to retrieve it via email. So if you make these a little tougher, that might be a good thing. I'm going to leave this as direct connection, and I'll leave this as yes, and I'm going to leave this as log IP because I want all those in effect. So I'm going to click Change Options, and now right here it says Options Changed. So that's it for that Limit Logins plugin. Next, if we want to go back and look at the plugins, we can create other plugins, features, and I just wanted to go over what Yoast SEO is real quickly. Now, Yoast SEO is a very powerful plugin, and SEO is search engine optimization, which is essentially what helps you get ranked within search engines such as Google, Yahoo, Bing, things like this. Now, if you want to, we can go into where it says Pages here, and I'm just going to use this to show you as an example of what SEO looks like within a Yoast plugin. Now, if we click on, let's say, About here, and we'll go and click Edit on this About page in our Pages section. And if you notice, because we changed our settings in our reading settings to be %, post name, %, it now shows up as About for the post name. Since it was About in the name here, it also shows as About here. And that will be the same within the post section if you make a blog post as well. So, to show you what Yoast is, if we scroll down a little bit, right here we'll see this symbol, and there's nothing going on here. It's all gray right now. But when we put in our focus keyword, which in this case I'm going to make About, now we can see that it's red. And if we look below, it will tell us more information about why it's red. The ideal scenario is we want it to be green. So, it would require a subheading like an H2 to improve it. We need to have more characters possibly in the title. We can also have no outbound links appear to in this page, which is fine, but our flash reading score here, reading ease score, is 0, and that's because we have no content within this area right here. Now I want you to view this as kind of almost like Microsoft Word or a document like that. Now you have many options. You can bold it, italicize it, do a strike through which goes through the letters, bolded list, a numbered list, a block quote, a horizontal line. That's a good way to divide up areas on the page with a line across the whole page, a line left, a line center, a line right. This is where you would insert a link. So if we wanted to insert a link, we'd put the URL here, let's just say google.com, and then our link text could say Google, and then we can click to choose to open it in a new link or leave it there. So now it just shows up as Google, even though the link for it was actually, if we click on it and we click edit, we'll see the link was actually google.com, even though it displays Google for the link. So if we wanted to, we could also remove the link right here. Insert a read more tag. This is helpful in blogs where you don't want to show all of your content. You want it to cut off at a certain point after maybe a certain catchy sentence to draw the reader in. This will actually open up a new area, and in here we can choose a larger heading size out of these options. It is sometimes good to have your focus keyword, which is About in our scenario with the Yoast plugin. See, it's focus keyword About. It can be good to add in a heading that would say About in it. So if you see, if we click that, it made it large. But if we wanted to enlarge that text, we can literally just highlight it like that and then make it larger. Here we can use underline, justify text, which will almost kind of like center the text in a way. It will make it more into a certain part of the page. This is the text color. We can change it. Here is paste as text, which I don't really use very often. Clear formatting, again, I don't use very often. This I don't use very often either. You can decrease the indent or increase the indent. That's kind of like something similar to Word that you would see. And undo and redo. And we're going to go through this a little bit more when we get into the blog section of the course, but I just wanted to run through those for now and let you know that how it's related to the Yoast SEO plugin. You may notice since we added that H1, that large text here, this header 1 with about in it into the text, that it went from being red to this orangish color. Now the only other step would make it green. It would be a great one, but something that you really need to increase here would be this, where it says the text contains 2 words. This is far too low and should be increased. Now I would recommend that you have at least 300 words on a page if you're trying to rank that page, or you're really trying to focus on a keyword on that page, especially if you're like selling a product or you have certain pictures in this gallery in this case that you really want people to see. You might have this page called gallery and you really want to focus on the gallery keyword, so it pays to have some text within the content here. At least I would say 300 words would be a good way to get started. And you would want to also have the word that you're targeting, in this case about, appear I would say about 2 times, maybe 3 times for every 300 words, and that's just a rule of thumb. So I hope this helps with explaining the Yoast SEO plugin. We're going to go over the other 3 plugins here that we haven't touched on yet. So far we've covered the limit login attempts and the Yoast SEO basics. In this section we're going to start by going over the Access Press social share options. And we can actually look at that within the page that we were just in if we go into Pages, and then we'll go to About. And if we click Edit on the About page, we'll then be brought to this page. And I just want to show you what it looks like. Right now I just have the text that says About. And if I wanted to, I could just add some more random text here. And now if we go, we'll click Update. And now if we go to this page, to our home page, and then we click on the About tab here in the side menu, we will see when it updates it has these icons here, and this is actually from the social sharing Access Press plugin that we have. So if we had an article here with lots of text, we would have this below it. Something I also wanted to point out is I would actually remove this About, since by default it does put the page name right here, so there's no point in having another About here. So that's something we can do. We can just get rid of it right there, and maybe I'll just write About here so we don't really lose much of that, and I'll just click Update. Now to go into the Access Press social share icons, we'll click here on this area, and now we can choose which ones we display. If we want to display all of these, we could have Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Dig, email, and we can give them the option to print it as well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take LinkedIn off, and I'm going to add email. That's generally what I do, but you can do whatever you feel like in this scenario. And I'll click Save Settings. Now in case you don't fully understand, these options will make it easy for people to share on their network what they want by just clicking this and being able to have it right there to share to their friends or their followers or whatever the scenario may be depending on the network. So that's great because it helps your website get more noticed by other prospective people that could be readers. So here in this next tab, in this Share Options tab, we can choose where they display. If you want them to only show up on posts, such as blog posts for example, you can do that. Since we have it Pages enabled here, that's why we're seeing it on this About page. Now if we took that off here and click Save Settings, and then we refresh this page, we're going to see that it disappears. I like to leave it on for each page, and if we go back to share options, we can click that to check pages there. And I like to leave it on for each of the pages and posts because I can change it on and off within the actual page or post itself if I want to do that. So another thing we can do within this area is there's the display options. You can choose here if you want it to display below the content, above the content, or both below and above the content. Currently we have below content, and this is what it will look like when I click update. Below this text content here. And notice that now mail has replaced where we had LinkedIn up here. So if I wanted it above, I could just easily click that to enable it, and then click Save Settings. And now if we refresh, we'll see that it's above the text here. So I actually like to have it at the bottom, and in the display settings I'm going to go back and put below content, but if you have a preference you can have it in another area. Now this is what shows up. This is called the themes for these, and I have theme 1, which comes by default, which is what you're seeing here set up. There's also this theme 2 here, theme 3 with these circle small icons, and here's more with theme 4, and here's larger ones for theme 5, and theme 6 is no color for these icons. I think it's better to have color with them so they stand out a little more. So I would tend to use something like this, theme 4, theme 3, 2, or 1. I'm going to leave it with 1 because I really like how it looks, and I'll just click Save Settings. And there's miscellaneous, and it gives you other options. I don't think we really have to get into these options all that much, but you can put your Twitter username. You can have the counter enabled or disabled. Right now, by default, it's not enabled, so you can't see like a 1 or a 0 or something hovered over. Maybe if you had a lot of shares, that would be something you want to enable. But if you have all zeros or all 1s showing up for this, I think it would be almost kind of embarrassing, especially when you're starting out. You're probably not going to have a lot of social sharing going on. So I will leave that as no in these cases. And this just says how to use, but it's pretty self-explanatory, and that's an About page. So that's about it for AccessPress Social Share. Now if we go back into our plugins, we'll see that we still have 2 more that we need to cover here, and one of them is Contact Form 7, which if you hadn't guessed, it's going to be going on to this contact page, which right now looks pretty blank. And the way we can do that is we can go into where it says Settings here, or we can click Contact there. Let's click Contact on the left, and here it has a form shortcode which we will be needing to use, but first we're going to go and click Edit. Now within this area, I want to make sure you understand that this is what's going to be showing up as the form. So the form will display your name. It will say your email, and notice these both say required after them. If we just wrote required like this, say we copy that and put this down for subject, and we require a subject, for example, that actually won't make it a required field. We have to put this asterisk here to make it required. So if we do your message, we have to put an asterisk after text area right here to make it required. We don't have to put one required for send because that's going to be required for us to even see the message anyway. So we'll click Save here. And now we're not done yet. We have to click back on the contact page, and we can click on this and it will automatically copy it all. It will highlight it all, I mean, and then we copy it. Now we'll go into where it says Pages. And here we'll go and click Edit on the contact page and simply put, to use a code, you would probably want to add it in this text part, and visual is what you'd want to see more. I like to add the text, such as like HTML and CSS and things like these shortcodes, into this text tab here, not in the visual. So I'll click Update here. And now, if we go back to this contact page here that looks pretty blank, we'll click Refresh. And now you'll see that we have a contact form with required information. I almost forgot a very important thing about the contact form. We'll have to go back into Contact and Edit, And in the second part of contact form right here, mail, this is where your mail will be sent to. So it by default is populated with the address that you sign up for this account with. But if you want it to go somewhere else, you have to put in a different email address that you want it to go to. So just wanted to note that. I'm going to leave mine as is. And now the last plugin here that we're going to cover is called Google Analytics Dashboard for WP. Now to go into that Google Analytics Dashboard for WP, what we're going to need to do is we'll go to this Google Analytics and we'll go hover over it and go to General Settings in the Google Analytics plugin here. And now it actually has a video setup tutorial right here, and it's very easy to do. What we need to do is click Authorize Plugin here. And I should point out that you're going to need a Google Analytics account for this to be effective. And what this will essentially do is it will track your data, showing how many visitors come to the website, how long they stay on the website, things like that. And it will be viewable in the dashboard area, hence the name Google Analytics Dashboard. So to start, we'll click Get Access Code right here. And then it will ask us for permission, and we'll have to allow it. And now we'll have a code here. We'll click on it. We'll highlight everything by itself on its own. And we'll click Copy. And then we can paste it in here and click Save Access Code. And really, that's about all we really need to do here. We can just go through here and click Save Changes at the bottom. In the next couple days, you should have access within the dashboard here to be able to access your information that's coming in through the Google Analytics in this dashboard area here. We're going to cover some of the customization features that we have within our WordPress dashboard. Some things that we can do here are go to Appearance and then go to Customize, and this is a way that we can edit the customization areas within here. And this is a quick way. You should be able to do this on basically any WordPress theme there is, and it gives you a quick ability to add and edit different features, and you can see the edits here and save them up here. So to get started, let's look at the site identity. And we already see that My Portfolio, View My Beautiful Images is right here. My Portfolio, View My Beautiful Images. And if we go back in that area, we'll go to the logo here, and here's where we would update and add a logo, and we're going to get into that in the next lecture here. And here is colors. If we want to change the background color, for example, let's change it to red and see what happens. Doesn't look too good. And if we want to go back, we can go and click default again. I think this is a pretty good color to go off of, but if you wanted to, you can kind of play with it and see which colors you like for your background of your site and see which works best for you. So I'm going to just go back to the default, which is white. All F's is white, by the way, for hex code colors. Now we can also go to the footer, and in the footer is the bottom area, and it just says Hello World, and I actually do not even see that on my site here. So I'm actually just going to get rid of that Hello World, and I'm going to save it because I don't really want that at the footer. And background image, if we wanted to add a background image, we could, and that would kind of, I guess, show our website in a new light. I can also show you in a couple lectures from now where to get some beautiful background images that we can use within our site, and we'll be using in our portfolio images just for the display effects of this portfolio theme tutorial. Next, we'll go back and we can look at menus, and we already have configured our menu and we have the main menu set. If you wanted to change that, you could. We already made that in the pages section of the course. Next is widgets, and widgets would be the sidebar here that you see right here. I actually do not like to display this one meta, so if we wanted to get rid of that, for example, we click on this tab here and then we click remove, and then you'll see it will refresh over here, and there we go. Now there's no longer any meta area right here. If we wanted to delete something else, we could. Let's just say you want to delete recent comments, and we'll delete that. I like to leave archives, categories, and obviously I want to have the menu, and I think search is a good thing to have as well. Recent posts, you can leave that if you'd like. That will be blog posts when we start posting in our blog, or it may be gallery images actually, so we'll see what that is. And we have to, again, save and publish that at the top, so you got to click that button to make the changes go into effect. And I nearly forgot to tell you about this. In the widgets area, if we go back in there and go back in the sidebar, we can actually add a widget here. You actually can even add images in there, and I'll show you how to do that with a plugin. And once we're done with that, we'll again go back and hit save and publish, and then we'll go back to this section. And this is just simply the static home page, and it says our front page displays our latest posts. And because of this, we actually may not even need this blog page as well, since by default we probably want the images to be on our home page for these portfolio images. So what we can do about that is we can actually go back, and we're going to delete this blog page, which would be pretty simple. Click the X up here. And now we'll go into pages again, and we're just going to delete that from here. We'll click trash on the blog page here. And we can go in and delete it permanently if we'd like. And the reason why I'm doing that, I just want to show you, if we do go into make a post here, and let's just make a dummy post, we'll hit add new, and I'm just going to write dummy text, and I actually just already uploaded an image for this, but to show you, let's just write this is some dummy text. And here, if we go down, we can add a featured image, and I'll add an image that I already had on here that I uploaded just a little while ago, and I'll hit publish. And now if we go into our visit our site page and we open it up, we'll see that we have our image here, and it will say dummy text. And if we click on this image, it will make a full size image, and we can have our whole blog post below that. For each image we can have a particular blog post. So that's how we can go about doing that. So we really don't need a blog page. So that's going to be it. If you need to contact me about anything, or you're confused about any of this, please definitely feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to just cover how to make a quick and easy logo, and I'm by no means a logo designer, but this is a free tool that we can use if we want something to look a little bit different than just this my portfolio area right here with the blank text. Now, what I would recommend you do is go to picmonkey.com. That's PICMONKEY.com. And this homepage may change over time, so I just want you to be aware of that. But for now, we're going to scroll down to where it says Achieve Graphic Greatness. And then it says Make a Design on this button, and that's what we're going to want to click. Now, something I wanted to point out when we first get here is we have this blank white background. The very first thing that we're going to want to do is make it a transparent canvas right here in this area, and then click Apply. Now, the reason why we want to make it transparent is because if we have a non-transparent image for our logo that says My Portfolio, for example, it would have a white box around the image if it isn't transparent. When we make it transparent, we will then have the regular background color, this dark gray color here, as the actual background color. And that will go for any website. So if you had a red background here, you don't want a random white box on a red background. I assume majority of the time at least you don't want that. So what we'll do is leave that transparent. And now we'll go over some of these options on the left. There's basic edits, effects, touch up, text, overlays, frames, textures, and themes. What we're going to do is go into the text area here. And within this text area, we're just going to click Add Text for now. We can edit the text once it's in there and change to a different font if we would like. Or we can just go within the area here and start to type something. So let's just, in my case, I'm going to call this Tom's Portfolio. I know, very original, right? Now I'm going to if I want to, I can change the color of the text here. So if I highlight it right here and I want it to be, let's say, this blue here, I can make it that color, blue, and leave it like that if I'd like. I can also bold it right here, use italics right here, align it to the left, center it, which will be centered within this little box bordering it, if you see that. And then I can also align it to the right. In this case, I'm just going to align it to the left since we're going to crop around this box anyway, so the box is almost irrelevant. For the font size, I believe that we should use probably maybe around like a 72 probably would work well for our site. And I will also leave the blend modes to normal, and I will go back up here and I'm actually going to change the color. Something to take note of is you have to look at your background color, which in this case is this darker gray color, and you know that a lighter text will be more visible within this darker background color. So this text color may not be that visible. If you wanted to, you can bring it up and maybe use something like a lighter color, like maybe something like this. And now if you click off of it into anywhere in this area outside of it, now what we'll want to do is we can then go to this area right here where it says Basic Edits on the left side and click that. And then we can click Crop. And this is what we'll do to crop closely around the image. And if you mess up, it's okay because we can go back and edit it. And what I'll do is I'll grab the corner here and drag it in. And you've got to hold the mouse while you're doing it. And you can make it come real close up to it. And that would be great. And then once you're happy with it, you'll want to click where it says Apply right here on the left side. And now you can kind of see it better than you could when it was smaller. And if I wanted to, I could probably cut that down a little bit more on the top. And I'm going to do that actually. So it just gets the text that I want only. So I'm going to, again, drag the corners. And I'm going to cut it down here. And I'll go over to the edge again. But the important thing I want to note is that everything's within there. And when I'm happy again, I'll click Apply again. And that's what we're left with. Now, to save this, we'll go up to the top and click Save. And I want to point out that you should probably title this something you'll remember. Maybe you can just call it logo in this case. And right here, the more important thing is that you want it to be called a PNG file, because a PNG file will keep the transparency while a JPEG will not keep that transparent background. Another thing to note is that I've had difficulty when I click Save to my computer within PicMonkey, and I've had a lot better success when I click Download it. So I would recommend that you probably just click Download it in this case. And now the logo's been downloaded, and I'm just going to pause the video for a second. And now I'm going to just go into where our area is right here in the dashboard. And now I'm going to go into Media, Add New, and I will click Add New. And then you'll have to click Select Files, and this will bring you to wherever you need to find a file at. I always put that file on my desktop. When I download it, it may be in your download section, or you may have put it on your desktop or somewhere else. You have to click Select Files and then locate that file, which I'm going to do now. And then I'll click that file there, and it will automatically upload. And now if I go into where it says Media Library right here, we can now see that the image here of the portfolio image, Tom's portfolio, is right here. So if I wanted to, I could also add alternate text here, and I suggest that you do this just for SEO purposes. Alt text or alternative text is a good thing to include. And now once you click out of it, it says saved. If you leave it in here and then don't click out of it, it probably will not save. So you have to click out and then it will click here. There's no like save button on this page. So next, if we want to add that to our site, we can go hover over Appearance and go to Customize again. And this is where we saw the logo section before, and we'll click on Logo. And notice how it says My Portfolio like this right now. If we go to Select Image, it will take us to the library area by default, and I'll click on the portfolio image here. So once we have this image selected, we'll click Choose Image here in the lower right, and now we can see the image comes up. My image is a little bit long here, and we can go through and edit that, but I just really want to show you how you can add a logo to this. I would just have to reduce the size. And if you add a logo and you don't like the logo, like mine in this case, you can simply hit remove. Or if you wanted to have the logo and have this taken out where it says view my beautiful images, you can simply go back here and go to where it says site identity and remove that text. And that will remove the text from that area. And to see what that will look like, we'll just click save and publish. And if we go and we refresh the actual home page, the front of it, we'll see that it's gone there. So I'm going to leave that here, and I'm actually going to leave the default text here, and I'm going to leave it the way it is because I really am not very good at making logos. But I hope this was helpful for you if you do want to design your own logo, or you know how to just change your site identity here if you want something else rather than the text that I've put. And if you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to go over how to make a fave icon, which is the icon we'll see at the top of the page right here where we see this blank sheet of paper right now as the icon. To do that, we're going to first go into where it says appearance, and then we'll go back into the customize section where we just were within the last lecture. Now we're going to go to where it says site identity, and if we look at this, it will say site icon here, which is the fave icon that goes up at the top here. And if we read, it says icons must be square and at least 512 pixels wide and tall. I've found that generally the best way to do this is try to make it exactly 512 by 512 if possible, or just a tiny bit larger. And the resource that we're going to be using is called logomaker.com. That's LOGOMAKR.com. There's no E in maker. So again, that's logomaker without the E.com. And when you get to the website here, you're going to be prompted to go through this 4-step tutorial that will tell you about where to find the graphics, the tools you can use, and how to save the image at the end when you're finished. So what we can do to start here is click on where it says Browse All Logos in the top left. And now it will load a bunch of different logos that we can use for our website. I do want to point out though that if you hover over any of these, you'll see that it says who it's by, and you usually have to give credit to the person, and it will tell you that when you do save the image at the end. So these are not 100% free to use without giving any credit to the author. You do have to give credit to the author still. So if we wanted to add an icon to this fave icon image, we could search through here, or you can go up to the top and actually type in something. Let's type in camera, since this is a portfolio website. And if we wanted to, we could add a camera image from here. And I'm just going to choose this one right here. I like how this one looks. And if we have it highlighted like this, we can then choose the color by selecting this color area on the left side. And here we're going to change the color like this. And I'm going to just click off of this. And here in the upper right, we have our measurements. And what we'll want to do is have this be 512 by 512, as it said, within that area. Now that we have a better idea of how big that canvas is, we can click the corner and stretch out the image. We want it to be very large within this area because it will be smaller looking when it gets into that small area that the fave icon area has at the upper left of the page tab. So remember, it's going to be going in this little area here. So we'll click out of it. And now if you're happy with how it looks, we can click Save Logo right there. And here's where it says it's necessary to give credit to the original authors. And it tells you the author in here, and you go click here to copy the credits. After you do that, what we're going to do is go back into this area, and we'll click Select Image. And even if we haven't put it in our library yet, what we can do is click Upload and Upload Files right here. And when we click Select Files here, we'll be prompted to find where the image is, and Once you locate the image, you'll select it. And then again, I would say to maybe change the title to something like Favicon, just so you know what it is. And I'll also make the alt text the same, and I'll click select. And now if we click save and publish, we can see the icon here at the top of the site. Let's refresh our main site here. And now we can see right up here that we have a new icon to go with our website. And it looks much better than just having that blank page that was there. In the next lecture, I'm going to go over a free resource that you can use to add and edit different social media images and things like that, and show you some great pictures similar to the one we see here that we can use for images. But we'll also cover another one where we can get very high quality images that this one is actually from. So if you want to, you can also just make a logo for your site and have the logo go within this area like we were going to do in the previous lecture. And you can do that within the logo maker site, but I am not 100% sure if you can actually make the background transparent, so you may have that white box around it when you are using Logo Maker. So I just wanted to point out that, and that's why I did use PicMonkey in that case, but you could make a logo through here for your site if you really wanted to. But it's definitely perfect for making these fav icons at the top like this. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to go over a free tool that we can use to make social media images a lot easier, or YouTube thumbnails, all kinds of different things that we may be wanting to do within our profile or our social media profile, for example. So what we can do is go to this website called canva.com. That's canva.com. And it's going to prompt you to sign up for an account, and I recommend you do. If you don't want to sign up for one, you just want to watch me go through it, you can do that. And I will just log in here with my username and password. And now, when we get to this page, you may have to go through some preview steps. I actually don't have to do that because I already have an account. But once you get through that, you can then go into this section where it shows different designs that you can create. And if you notice underneath of it, it says the dimensions. For example, this is 800 by 800 pixels. This is 1024 by 768, and so on. You can use custom dimensions if you click here. And when you click on that, it pops up with a width and height, and it goes by pixels. So we could have used this for 512 by 512, for example, and then click design to make this favicon image that we just made in our last lecture. So if you don't want to use them, you simply click don't use them up in the upper right there, and then it will take you to this area where you can actually do more. If you don't want these images, you want to make something else. There are ones like Facebook cover and Twitter header, and we'll see more within this section. And now when we get to this page, we can see all different things from the Twitter post, Pinterest graphic, Facebook app, Tumblr graphic, and we can scroll down. There's Instagram post, presentations. This is for documents, and it has 16 by 9 document size. This is also probably the size that you would use on most websites for like a large background image, this 1920 by 1080. And here you can have desktop wallpaper. Again, it's the same size. A blog title, which could come in handy if you make a blog. I use these on my own blog. And if we scroll down a little more, we can see there's all different marketing materials such as posters and menus and things like this. I've actually even made a resume off of this website before. And you can have Facebook covers, YouTube thumbnails, as I said, YouTube channel art, which is what you see within a YouTube background, Twitter header, and these are coming up a little slowly here, but these are different sizes that are pre-made to fit your image. Now you may be wondering, how do I make these images? Are they all free? Things like that. Well, what we can do is let's go and we'll create a mock Twitter header, for example, and we'll just click on Twitter header here. And once this page loads, the first thing you may notice is that right here it shows where your image would be within a Twitter header, and it shows where the search would be and things like that. So the layout is almost like pre-made into it, and you can make your layout and see what it would look like around that. This is like a web view, so if you open it on the internet, that's what you would see. So if you wanted to make a image for it, they have free designs here, and you'll see it says free in the lower right. And I know what you're thinking, that means some are paid, and are there only good ones for the paid ones? Well, there's a lot of good free ones, but the paid ones here have a $sign in the lower right. And to use any of these elements with a $sign, like this background image here, it would cost $1. So every element you use, you have to pay $1 for. And after you make the image, if you have used paid graphics or anything like that, then you have up to 24 hours to edit that and re-download it again so they give you time to be happy with it. It's not just a one-time download where you can't edit it. So what I like to do is I like to use a lot of images within the background here, and I'll go into where it says elements in this case, and I'll go into photos because they have a lot of high quality good photos on here that are free. And let's say we wanted to make a website image for our background, just something that looks nice, and we can just add in just about anything, but let's go with this one just for the sake of having an image. And what we'll do is we'll click and drag here, and we'll scroll it out to stretch out the image. It's just like we were doing in the other editors that we were in, and now we can do the same thing here. And if you wanted to, if you were happy with how that looked, you could simply just click outside of it just like before. If you wanted to add something like text to it, you click on this T here for text, and you can then click a font. And I'll just click this one randomly. Now to edit the font, you can click on it, and it will highlight this top section, not this bottom here. Here's the font name, and you can go through these and change the fonts quite a bit to be a lot of different options here. Let's just go with this one. And if I wanted to, I can change the color by clicking here, and you think, well, that's a limited amount of colors, but then you can actually click on here and get a color wheel, and you can make it any color you really want. Also, there's this option here where you can make all the font uppercase, make it a list, align it to the left, align it to the center, align it to the right. So if we were going to align it to the left, it would end up right over in this area right here. To the right would be over in here, and center is where it is now. So if we wanted to change this text, let's just change this color here to be something else, and I'll just make it this red color, and I'll just leave it like that. So if you wanted to add that, what you would do is simply just click download here, and it will give you a few different options. When you click that button, it will say as a JPEG, as a PNG. You can even do a PDF or a PDF for print. I usually just do PNG or JPEG. It really is almost irrelevant in this case because we're just putting it as our Twitter background, and it will look the same in the Twitter header. So that's just a quick example to show you that you can make some images in here that are pretty good. And if you're not happy with it, you can just click delete here and remove it, and you can just click here and then click delete again. And if you want to, you can click undo and it will put it back, or redo and it will take it away in this area up here. So I just wanted to show you that. Another option is if you want solid color, you can just click on background and just click one to add in there, and you could simply write text over top of it. And that's an easy way for you to make something quickly. To move the whole image, you want to click in the center when you have these 4 prongs like this, and then you can drag it over so it's not hidden behind here. Notice it has this little crossed out area here when you go over that. So it's showing you that you can't have it there, or it won't show up there. So if you wanted it to show up, you could have it like this, or you can simply resize it to make it smaller, and then you can recenter it by grabbing it and moving it over again in the center. And the lines will start to show up. See that line that comes up right there down the center? That shows the center of the image. So now we know that it's centered within this background rectangle here. So I hope this helps. There's a lot that you can do with this, but I just wanted to give you a quick overview of this tool just so you can use it for your own social media and other types of images, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. It can really be a benefit to your business and getting your name out there to other people. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to cover 2 different places where we can get beautiful high quality images that we're going to be using within our portfolio here. And the first one is pixabay.com. Now I realize that many of you may not need to have high quality images because you probably already have images that you do want to add to your portfolio, but I figured this would be something good to show you because it again is a wonderful free resource. The other one is unsplash.com. And these are very similar websites, and I just want to show you some of the images that they have on here. They're all high quality images. It would be beautiful for a background of a website or large images within a website as well. So there are so many different ones on here. You can actually change the view on here. I want to show you that to be a more grid-based view, and then you can see more of them at once. So I think that's very helpful. As you can see, there's some very high quality images on here that look quite nice. And to download them, you actually can download them and not have to give any credit to the authors involved within this. It's free to use even for business related purposes, and you can just click download here. I'm actually not going to use the Unsplash site for this because I actually like Pixabay a little bit more because I think there's a wider variety of images on here. And on Pixabay, what I would do is you have this option to go to all images, or you can do vector images, which is sometimes used for logos, and you can also search for transparent like I talked about with the importance with the background. I just wanted to point that out to you. But I'm just going to search for something like a general picture that would look nice as far as like scenery goes, and I'll just type in waterfall and click to search, enter to search. And now we have a lot of different waterfall type images coming up, and if we wanted to, we could save an image that we like, and if you wanted to view it at a larger quality here, you'll see it here. When you enlarge it and just click on it, you'll see the large view of it here. Now to download it, you actually don't have to sign up to download it, but if you click on free download here, it will prompt you to download different sized images. Now I recommend that you download a large image about this size, which if you remember from the Canva lecture that we went over, this is the exact size for a background of a homepage background that they have built in by default. So this would be a very good size image to get. And something I wanted to point out with that is if you got a small image of this size and had to resize it and make it this size right here, you would lose some of the quality while resizing it. But if you're resizing it to minimize the image to make it smaller, then you would actually not lose any of the quality going from a large to small, but going from small to large, you will lose some of the quality. So I wanted to point that out to you, and if you wanted to download it, you just click download right here. And I'll just show you some more images on here. I actually already have a folder full of images, but I'm just going to again show you some of the ones that are here. And I want to point out this as well, that these are sponsored images at the top, these ones by Shutterstock, as you see at the top here. So sometimes those might be the best looking ones, but they're not free. You have to pay for them. So if I wanted to look at different farm images and look for something in particular, this image looks pretty nice to me. And I would just go down, and if I liked how it looks and I think it's okay, I'll just simply click free download. I will say this, if you download this huge size image here, it will prompt you to sign up, but I really think it's totally worth signing up, and they've never spammed me with any emails. I actually don't even think I've ever even gotten an email from them. So that's just an option that you can do. It's a really good free source, and if you wanted to, you could even type in something like scenery, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of good pictures in this area here. So they have all different kinds of amazing scenery here and great high quality images. So if you wanted to use these within your portfolio, you easily could do that. And this is a beautiful image that I'd probably use. And if you look, it says it's by the author Unsplash. So you can tell that unsplash.com also has stuff on this site because they're really all about spreading different images. If you wanted to click on someone's profile and see other images they had, like they have almost 8,000 from Unsplash on here, you can click on that, and now you can see all different ones that Unsplash has done and add it onto this site. So something you could also do is just go into popular here. Most people aren't going to have as many as they do, but this is an option to go into this area to search for your different images that you want to add. Now, I'll go into how to add them to the website in the next lecture coming up, when we add them within our blog section, into our post section I should say, and they will be posted by default onto the home page as we set up before. So I'll see you in the next lecture. We're finally going to start adding portfolio images to our home page here and make a real looking portfolio. So what I'm just going to cover first is we can get rid of this message here where it says misconfiguration leads to mail delivery failure and other troubles. We can just click validate contact form 7, and that will just validate the form for our contact page. And we can just click validate contact form 1 now, and that's fine. We'll get rid of the message like that. Now the other message that we saw within the dashboard, or at least the other thing that I wanted to point out to you, was that the Google Analytics dashboard that we placed is now in effect on, at least on my site. It may not be on yours, but there has been a day between when I recorded that video and now. And if I go down, I can see that there's analytics for a time period, and it's because I didn't change the analytics website. I have it set up with another website that I have. But if we went and I looked at, for example, today, you can see how many people are on there today, and it's really only one person at a time that's been on a site, 3 sessions from one user. The last 30 days you can check. There's all different things that you can check within this little area just to see how your site's doing. The bounce rate is an important one to note, and I would say the page views are another. And the pages per session, I guess, are also important if your website is not a one-page website. In our case, we only have 3 pages on our website with the home, about, and contact. So if we had 2.8 average like we do on here, it would be great. So I just wanted to point that out to you. Now we're going to jump into the media section here, and you can click add new, or you can just click media or library. It really doesn't matter. But now we're going to have to click the add new button here. Now what we're going to do is go to select files, and I'm going to be selecting files that I got off Pixabay that I already have in a folder, but you may be wanting to select files that you're going to add to your actual portfolio. And we'll just click select files, and I'll find the folder that I wanted to grab them out of, called Pixabay Images in my case. And within this folder here, I'm going to highlight all of them, and I'm just going to add all of them into this media library here, and it's going to show all these blue bars here. I'm actually just going to pause the video probably for about a minute to upload these, and then I'll unpause it once they're all uploaded. And now that I have all of them uploaded, in this case we're going to just scroll up a little bit here and go to where it says posts, which is right above the media tab on the left. And you notice that we have our dummy text from this one post that we made on the home page here. What we can do is we can either edit this, and I'll just edit it real quick. And I'm going to add in some lorem ipsum text, which is kind of the standard dummy text of the web. And instead of it saying this is some dummy text, I'm just going to copy this in. And within this area, if you remember, we can go into the text or visual tab. We're in the text tab right now. We probably should be in the visual, but if we go into the visual tab, we'll see the same things here. And I just wanted to point out that we can make some of this larger text if we would like. Let's make a space between this, and I'm just going to tab that down. And let's say if we wanted this to be a heading, we could just make this an H1 heading. And we can make a random thing, a link in here. I'm just going to do this for instructional purposes, and I'll just call this link example. And this will go to facebook.com. and we can have it open in a new tab. I know we went over this before, but I just wanted to show you it again. And if we wanted to divide the content here, something we could do is put in a horizontal row, which would be this right here. And another thing that we could do is if we wanted to have an image within the text here, so let's say we wanted to add an image at this second part here, we can click Add Image here, and then in our media library we can choose an image. Let's say we choose this one. And if you want to make the alt text different for SEO purposes to match up, and notice that it's on the left side here and this text is here, what we can do is click on the actual image, and if we click Align Left like this, the font and the text here, goes up and around it. It wraps around the image. So now we have this as our featured image. We have our social sharing icons from our Access Press social share plugin enabled, and we have the text wrapped around here. So if we go and we want to, before we hit update actually, we'll add a new category. So let's call this, instead of dummy text, let's call this picture mountain. We'll call it valley, just for this purpose. And then if you want to change this for SEO purposes, we'll also call this valley. And then down below in the Yoast SEO plugin, we'll call this valley as well as the focus keyword. And now it went from red to being orange. And let's just add in the word valley here. And now if we click to add new category here, we can add a category such as scenery. And let's just click enter. And now there's a primary, and you can make one a primary. I don't want uncategorized to be the primary thing here. I want it to be scenery. And if we want to add tags, we could put valley. We could put mountain, just for examples. And now we'll click update. And if we go back to this home page here and we refresh the home page, we're going to see that it should have a different text beneath it right here. Instead of what says dummy text, it should say valley now, which it does. And if we click on this image, we're going to see more than just the image. If we scroll down, we can see here's the lorem ipsum right here, the H1, this header 1 text that we made larger. Here's the photo with the wraparound text with the link example here. And here is the social sharing icons here at the bottom of our blog post, or our picture post in this case, since it is a portfolio. Now to add more items, I'm just going to simply go back into the post section of the dashboard and just click add new. And it's going to kind of be a rinse and repeat process. So let's just add one called waterfall here, because I know I have an image of a waterfall. And I will again paste in this lorem ipsum text, and again I'm going to just add a new category on the right side. I will add one that just says, actually I'm going to put this within scenery again, and on the tags I'm going to tag it as waterfall, and then just click add. And within this area, you'll actually want to again go down. And for a real page, you're going to want to do this every time, have a focus keyword. And if we want to, we can set a featured image, which I'm sure you would want to do, or else it's just going to be a blank page. Actually, I'll save it and I'll show you what it will be like without the featured image. So if we just click publish there and we refresh the page, now it says default image. There's nothing there. So we have to change that for it to show up, to actually have some life in our portfolio. So we're going to have to set a featured image. You always want to make sure to do that within this theme. And let's just click this waterfall here. And again, you would write waterfall for the alt text in a real scenario. And you go back and just click update. And now we'll be able to see the changes right here when we refresh this page. We'll see that there's a waterfall, and if we click on it again, we're going to see the same type of thing. So if you wanted to make another post, let's just go on YouTube real quickly, and I'm going to go back and click add new, and within this area I'm going to actually show you how to embed a video in this page. So another image that we have is of fireworks, and fireworks, and I'm going to add the dummy text in here again. And within this section, I want to embed a video. How you do that is if you go on to YouTube and you find one that says fireworks. Let's just go on this one right here. I'm going to pause the video. And if we want to add this to the site, we can't actually just copy this link because then the link will just show up. If you wanted to just have the link only, we could do it just like we did with the Facebook example. But to embed the actual video, what we would need to do is click share, and then we'll click embed here. And here is the link that we need to have. And we'll copy that link and we'll go back into this area and we'll just paste it right there. And you can hit publish. Again, I need to have a featured image, so I'm going to go down and do that. And I'll add a tag. I'll add tag fireworks. And I'll set featured image again. And now we're going to look for one with fireworks. And here we go. Here's one with fireworks. We'll set that as the featured image. Go back up and we'll click update. And then if we want to go back to the home page, we can actually click My Portfolio or Home, either one. And there's fireworks, and it says uncategorized because I didn't put it in the scenery category. So we'll click on that. Here's the large image at the top. If we scroll down, look, it didn't work. And you wonder why it didn't work? Well, actually it's pretty simple explanation. It didn't work because I didn't put it in the right section. So I'll go and I'll delete that from here, and I'll go into the text section where we do the HTML and CSS and things like this. It would be HTML mainly. And we'll click update. Now if we refresh, there it is, the video right here. So now that the video is here, we can see how to do that. Make sure you're in the text section if you are going to do that. And now I'll just X out of that video since we don't need it anymore. And I will again copy the lorem ipsum text. And I'm just going to add a few more posts to this area. So we have more than 3. I would like to have a bunch more in here, but I don't want to waste your time and have you just watch me do it over and over again. So if you have questions about this, definitely feel free to reach out to me, and I'll do my best to get back to you quickly. I'm just going to go over 2 optional plugins that I think could be beneficial to you, and I'm going to show you also how to change this layout here. Now if you've added a bunch of posts like I have, you'll see that there's 10 on this first page, and then it goes to next where it says older posts, and I have more over here. So in total I have about 16 posts here. So if I went back and I clicked older posts, and then I click newer posts, then it would take me back to the front where I have these 10 posts. Now how to change that and how many posts you display here, we can just go and we into the dashboard area and go over settings and where it says reading. And within this reading section you see it says blog pages show at most 10 posts. So if we wanted to add more, in this case if I want all 16, I'll do that and click Save Changes here at the bottom. And we'll go back and we'll refresh it and see what it looks like now. And now you can see that they were added to the front page, and there's no longer this next page that says older posts. But if you add more, it will go into the older pages with more posts. So this is a good way to have a good even number on this page, so it's not just 2 just hanging out here at the end when you have 10. So if you had 12, 16, 20, something like that in multiples of 4, then you would have a better grid layout here. So that's just a suggestion that I would make. Another thing I want to show you is if we click on an article here, you'll see that the article text looks like this. If you're not happy with how that looks, this is how it comes in the theme by default. If you're not happy with how it looks, we can go in into plugins and add another plugin, click add new. And here I'm going to add a plugin called Easy Google Fonts. Easy Google Fonts. Click enter here. And it's going to be this first one here. I'll just click install now on it. And to get to that, I'm going to actually go into where it says appearance, and I'll have to activate it first. I'm sorry. And now after it's activated, I'll go into where it says appearance and then customize. And I'm just going to click on the same one I was just on with the scenery here. And now I'm going to just scroll down so we can see the font within here. So if we wanted to, we'll just click this new thing here that wasn't here before called typography. And that's there because of the Easy Google Fonts plugin. We'll click default typography. And here it says paragraphs, and this would be everything in this section. We don't have any headers in here. I'll make this just go to Latin for the subsets here. And within this area, we can choose different fonts. And we'll have to play with them a bit and see what we like, what we don't like. There's all different ones here. So once you find one that you think looks good, let's go up. I'm just going to click on this one here at the top. Looks pretty good, I think. And if I wanted to, I can also change the weight or style. And this one I can't do that with, but other ones I may be able to do that with. So let's try it with that one. And now I can change the weight or style to italic. I can do 900, which would be like more of a bold. 700 italic. It's kind of in the middle, or regular. Now, if you also want to, you can change things within the appearance section here. And you can change the actual color, which you can do within the back end as well in the editor. The background color. Font size, though, I think this is maybe the more important one option here. You can make it larger font so it is easier to read. And if you wanted to change the color to be darker, you could do that. And now you can really see that font standing out much more than you could by the default color. Now maybe we can change it a little bit and have something like this. And when it changes, you don't notice too much of a difference, but it changed. And the big things here are that the font color can be changed and the font size. Line height, letter spacing, you can change those as well as the headings as well here. So there's all different things you can do within this, but I really want to show you mainly for the paragraphs here and the headings how to change that. We'll click Save and Publish here in this case. So now if we go back, we refresh this same one that we were on, we'll see that it's updated with this larger, easier to read text. And if we click on another one just to verify that it's gone into effect there as well, we'll see that the text is also in effect on other posts that we've made. So the other plugin I wanted to add, we'll click out of the X here to go back to the site dashboard. The other one I wanted to add is just called, we'll have to go to Add New, and it's just called Image Widget. And this is an optional plugin as well. That's really a preference thing. I'll click Install Now here. And I'll click Activate Plugin. And to add this widget, we can go to Appearance and then go to Widgets, or we can go within the Customize section as well, either one. And this is what shows up on the side, which is probably easier to see in the customization area. And we can just go and we'll click to add the widgets by going down here, and we'll find where it says Image Widget, which is right here. I was looking right over it. And we can click on it, hold it, and drag it right in here. And if you want to, you can put it anywhere in here, and it will say select an image. And I'm just going to click that, and I've already uploaded an image of myself in the library. And I'll just click to insert it into the post here. And now if I wanted to, I can add a caption, I can add alt text, whatever I would like to do here. And I'm going to make this a thumbnail size image and just click Save. I don't want it to be too large. And now if we go back, we can refresh and see what it looks like. And there I am, and there's the image title, which I would definitely change from this right here. I'll just say, hi, I'm Tom. Oops. And I'll save it again down here. And if we refresh, we should see the updated text here. It says, "Hi, I'm Tom." And I just wanted to point out, when we did change that text, I guess right here within the paragraphs, it did change this as well right here. So maybe that's something you can either remove, or you can change the text so it's easier to see here. It's all really up to you. So I just wanted to point out these two optional plugins for you to add an image here of yourself in the portfolio, and how to change the text within the actual post like we did within here. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out to me. So you may have noticed right now we have our home page pretty much complete as the final project looked, and we also have our contact page as the preview looked when you first saw that earlier in the course. And here we don't have anything going on for an about page. And now we're just going to dive into making a simple about page here. So we'll go into the dashboard and we'll go into pages. And within this pages section, we're going to click edit on the about page right here, just as we've done with the other ones before. And here I'm going to first start off by just adding some simple dummy text like we were doing before in the portfolio posts in each of those blog posts. So if you wanted to, I could also just press enter a couple times or one time and just get that down. And I'm going to write, "Hi, I'm Tom." So if we wanted to, we could then highlight this and make it an H1, which is a heading 1 text, which is large. And again, if we wanted to add our image in here, it may look a little funny because we already have our image showing up within the image widget plugin that we just added. But if you decided not to add that, it would look great. So you can add this in, and we'll click Add Media there. And once this loads, I'm just going to select my image here. And again, we could add the alt text and change the title if we're going to do something for SEO purposes. And now again, to align it to the left so the text wraps around it, we're going to just click on the image and then click Align Left in this case. And I'm just going to click to update the image. Now, if we wanted to, we can refresh the page here and see what we have within the About page. Now we see that it has the heading here, "Hi, I'm Tom," the H1, and it has this text wrapped around the image. So something you could also do, if you wanted this image to be a different size, you can literally just click on the image and you can drag it to expand it. So if you want it to be like this, you could do that and click Update. And now we'll refresh over here. And now you'll see that the image is larger. Again, notice that you lose a little bit of quality because it's going from a smaller to a larger image, as I was talking about in the Pixabay section. When you resize images, it's better to go from large to small. But you get the idea by seeing this here, that you can expand and retract the image size. So that's something to note. If you also don't want to include this access press here, since I don't know if a lot of people are going to want to share your About page, what you might want to do is go down here and then you'll click Hide Share Icons in Content and then click Update. So you won't have this sharing link within your About page. If we update it, we now see that there's no more sharing icons at the bottom. And if you wanted to do that for any page, you could do that, but I would highly recommend that you leave them on your blog page. If we look within the contact page, we also have these sharing icons enabled here, and we can disable that as well by going into Pages here, and then going into Contact and Edit on the contact page, and then just scrolling down again, and then Hide Share Icons and Content, and we'll click Update. So that will get rid of it on the contact page as well. So now our site is pretty much complete. I just wanted to point out, here's our contact page, our About page here, and our home page here with our portfolio on it. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to me about these. In the next lecture, I'm actually going to cover how to go about changing your email address so it will show up as support@example.com or something like that, or tom@example.com, instead of being at a Gmail address or Yahoo or Hotmail, whatever email you have, you can change it to look a little bit more professional. If you're really not concerned about that and you'd rather just get it right into your Gmail inbox or something like that, then you can skip the next few lectures because they're pretty much irrelevant for you then. And there are a lot of steps within those lectures. So I hope this was helpful, and thanks for watching, everyone. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. In this lecture, I just wanted to talk about email forwarding and why it's important. Well, with HostGator, you're able to actually fetch emails and send them to your Gmail account automatically. And within the next couple lectures, I'm going to use videos that I've previously recorded for another course rather than having to record them all over again, showing the whole process again. And it's a step-by-step process on how to basically link your Gmail account to the HostGator webmail. And if you didn't have them linked, a big problem that you'd run into is that you would have to log back into the control panel through the HostGator welcome email each time, and then log in through the webmail and into whichever of the three webmail suppliers that you chose, just to log in and view your mail and send it from that email address each time. So it would be kind of a pain to do this every time. And if you're already a Gmail user, like the majority of people on the internet probably are, then you can just log right into your Gmail account and have access to it right there within the same email. And you can even change your Gmail to send the mail as that address by the default. So you can send it from, let's say your site's called support@example.com. So if your site was example.com and you want to send a message to someone from it, it would show up in their inbox as support@example.com. So this is a great resource to take advantage of, and I really hope you are able to benefit from the next couple videos. I also just wanted to show you this page that if you go on Google and you just type in Google Mail Fetcher, HostGator Google Mail Fetcher or something like this, it does go through a little step-by-step process right here on how to fetch the mail for Google. And I believe it actually also covers, if you want to do it, see fetch mail with AOL. I cover how to fetch Google Mail, Gmail within this, and I did that because it's the one I use and I think it's the one that most people use. I hope this helps, and I hope it gives you a quick little overview of the next couple lessons ahead of us. We will be going over MailChimp. We will use MailChimp to be integrated with our email capture box that we just set up with SumoMe. Just a reminder, if you do not want to have this email capture box on your website, then simply skip this lecture because it's not necessary. However, I really think it can come in handy. The first thing that we're going to need to do is go to MailChimp.com. MailChimp is free and easy to use, and that's the main reason why I use this to link to our account. The first thing that we're going to want to do here is click Sign Up for Free in the upper right. Next, we're going to activate account with our email link. What we're going to want to do is fill out a good email address here. I'm going to fill this out, and then at the bottom hit Create. After that, it will give us a message that says thanks for signing up, and it will say to please check your email to activate the account. After clicking the activation link in your email, you'll be brought to this page where you'll have to confirm that you're not a robot. And it will ask you some kind of verification question like this. Then you click Confirm Sign Up. After that, you're going to have to fill out some account information. So I'm going to do that right now and then replay the video after I'm done filling out my personal information. When you are done filling out your information, you want to just click Save and Get Started. An important note would be that above in this form you want to put in your website domain name, just to be clear. Next, it will say access your account settings, support, and log out right here. I'll hit next, and then I'll just do dismiss. After that, we're going to need to click create a list. After we do that, we'll be prompted to the next page and we'll hit create list again in the upper right. Here we'll be prompted to fill out information again about, this will be for our email list though. So it will give you examples below. See, it says good example, Acme Company newsletter, bad example, some random customer information. So I'm going to put mine as my practice projects, since that's my domain name. News, I'll just put. Oops. And then my default email will just be the email that you're going to want the website to have. So an example would be like support my practice projects.com or your name at yourwebsite.com, for example. This is the address people will reply to. Default from name. They want to know who it's coming from. So if people don't know me as Tom from mypracticeprojects.com, then they might think, who is this person? So maybe something you would want to do is use your company name, like My Practice Projects in my case. And this is just a reminder, write a reminder about how the recipient joined this list. And then it will give you an example right here. I usually actually copy this example word for word. You are receiving this email because you opted in at our website. Then I scroll down a little bit, and here we choose how we're going to be notified. If you want a daily summary of the activity with your newsletter, one by one again. I'm just going to click one by one because I don't think we're going to have many sign up at first. You could always go back and change this to a daily summary if your mailing list begins to grow a lot and you're curious about the numbers from day to day and you don't want to get spammed with emails either. So we'll click Save. After this is saved, we're going to go back into the WordPress dashboard. We're going to go to SumoMe. We'll click the crown icon, and then we'll go to List Builder. After we click on List Builder, we will then go to Services. Then we will go to MailChimp at the top once it loads. MailChimp, and then we'll click Connect. And that part is done. We've connected the accounts. What we have to do to verify that is sign in with our MailChimp username. So what you'll want to do is put your username and password. And click Login. Now they're connected. As you can see, it says disconnect now. But the important thing you have to do now is click the Save button in the lower right, and it will come up with a message that says Saved to show that it has been saved. Now we go back to MailChimp and sign up. To get to the home page, we're going to click on the monkey in the upper left corner of the MailChimp site. And now that we're back on MailChimp, we're going to go to Lists. And now we're going to click on our list name. And next we will go to Sign Up Forms. It says, please verify support at mypracticeprojects.com. So it's not the email that we activated this account on MailChimp with, it's the email that we set up to be our site email address. So the next step in this process is to go to our account email that we got with our account info from HostGator for our hosting account. What we're going to want to do is log into this page, our control panel link, with our username and our password. As you remember probably that we updated our password, so it may be different than what displays here. At least I have updated mine. And we'll type them in and log into there. Now that it's logged in, we're going to go down to email accounts and click email accounts. Next, we're going to go to the domain name. You should probably just have one. As you know, I have many domain names. And what we're going to do is name it the same as what they're looking for what they are looking for in this case, which ours in my case was support@mypracticeprojects.com. So I will put in support@mypracticeprojects.com. And you will set a password. You can make it anything that's easy to remember for you. Here we will go and click Create Account. It says Account Created. Next, what we will do is go back to the home page. In the upper left, that icon is. And then we will scroll down to where it says Webmail and click that. After clicking on Webmail, we will click Go to Secure Webmail Login. Next, we can choose any of these three. I'm just going to choose Roundcube, and within Roundcube you can see that I've had previous mail sent here. However, it was sent to an address that doesn't even exist for my inbox. So what we're going to need to do is go to Settings. Then we will go to Identities. Click on the only option that's there, and display name I'm going to put as Tom, and then I will change the address to be support@mypracticeprojects.com as we had before, and then I will click Save. After this, we're going to X out of this area once you see it says successfully saved in the lower right corner, and then we will go back to the home button of the cPanel in the upper left corner. After this, we will scroll down to where it says Email Forwarders, or Forwarders in this case, and click that button. And I'm going to just take a moment to explain why it's important to forward your email. In this case, it's a pain to have to log into the cPanel every time just to view your email in MailCube. If you can have it forwarded to an email that you regularly use, or it's easier to check for you, then it makes a lot of sense to do that. If you have a Gmail account that you usually check, it makes a lot of sense to have it forwarded to that Gmail account in this case. So I just think it's a convenience factor to have it sent like this, and you'll probably receive less spam as well. Now we will click Add Forwarder, and we will highlight my domain name. Yours should already be set, as I've said before. And then we will go to Support, and the destination where we want the email to actually go to is whatever email works best for you. In my case, I'm going to put the same one that I signed up with for MailChimp, and I think that's what you should do as well. They recommend that you don't do this, but that's because they have a product that they're selling for $5 a month that they want you to buy. So I'm going to ignore that and then click Add Forwarder. After that's done and it says that you've added the forwarder and you verify that it's the correct address and correct here, what you're going to want to do is go back to MailChimp. Next, we will go into the list section on MailChimp, and it says please verify that support@mypracticeprojects.com as your default from email address before setting up a sign-up form. So what we have to do is go down here and hit Verify Domain. Then we have to click Send Verification email. After a moment, an email should appear from MailChimp. You want to open that, and then you can either verify domain access with the link or copy the code. I like to copy the code since I'm already logged into MailChimp anyway. And then I'll paste it into the form here and hit verify me. Now it is successfully verified. And that was the final step. Now your email will be forwarded to support at whatever your domain name address is, or sales, or your name at whatever your domain name is. Whatever way you set it up, it will show as your company email for that way. And it will now be redirected to whatever email you set it to be redirected to for much easier access and communication on your part. I know this was a lot of steps, and if you have questions, please put it in the support section, but I really suggest you go through the video a couple times if you're having trouble with it, and just pause it and take your time going through it. If you have any questions, please reach out to me though. Thanks for viewing, everyone. We're just going to go over how to change or set up your Gmail account to be able to send and receive messages from that, and change the address that the email appears to come from and be received from, but it will really be within your personal Gmail account. I hope that makes sense, and let's dive in here. The first thing we're going to need to do is you're going to need to log into the Gmail account that you most want to use, and after doing that, you're going to also have to log into the HostGator cPanel area by clicking the link that's in the email that they sent you. So after you've done both of these things, what you're going to need to do is then go over and I'm just going to delete this email real quick, and what we're going to need to do is go and click where it says settings in the upper right of your email, and we'll click on again where it says settings here. Now the section that we're going to need to go into is where it says accounts and import, and we'll click on that, accounts and import, and then it says send mail as, and right now mine for this scenario is sending mail from my regular Gmail account here that I just created. So what we want to do is we'll click add another email, and here we can decide on the name. Since the site is My Practice Projects, I'm just going to name it My Practice Projects, and the email is going to just be the one that we created earlier. In my case, it's support@mypracticeprojects.com, and then we'll click next step. So it says right here we need the SMTP server information right here. So the information we'll be able to find in our HostGator area. So we'll go back into HostGator, and we'll go down, and it simply is asking for the name servers, and in this case the name servers are right here. It says ns8333.hostgator.com and ns334.hostgator.com. In this case, we're going to want to select the second one of the two. And so make sure you highlight, select this second one, and we'll copy it back in to the other tab here and paste it in. Now, for the username, in my case though, I'm going to again put support@mypracticeprojects.com. And in this scenario, I don't believe you can capitalize any of these letters, so just leave them all lowercase as it is, and then create a password. And we'll leave this as the TLS, the recommended here, and the port we're going to also leave at 587. And we'll click Add Account. And now it asks us to enter and verify the confirmation code. So what it's going to do is, you'll see right here it says verify in the Gmail settings. What it's going to do is send an email to this address, support@mypracticeprojects.com. So what we're going to need to do is we'll go back to where it says inbox here. Since we've already had it set up to forward from where it says our round cube email here, we don't need to go back into the cPanel for this to get that email. We can actually just use the one that was already forwarded to us, which is pretty nice. And it says that we've requested to add this email, and you just want to verify that's the correct email. And the confirmation code is right here. And we can please click the link below to confirm your request. So we're just going to click that link. And now we'll click confirm. And now it says the Gmail user may now send mail as support@mypracticeprojects.com. Now if you didn't set up email forwarding and any of that kind of stuff on the website, you can still do this and make your email this as just the default email. But I really think it is good to have a pop-up in a way to forward mail and things like that. So now if we go back, we can X out of here, and now if we go back to the settings, and then we'll go back into accounts and import, and now it's showing as mypracticeprojects.com for the email here. We can also click to make it the default if that's where you want all the emails to go to and things like that. So now it's set as the default. It's that simple. So if we want to, we can also add a email here, and this is how to check mail from other accounts, which is really important because we can check our support@mypracticeprojects.com emails from this actual email login that we have here. So we'll go and click add a POP3 mail account, and we'll put the address. It says enter the email address of the account to get mail from. So this is where we're going to want to write the support email, in my case, that I want to receive the mail from. So it'll be support@mypracticeprojects.com in this case. I'll click next step. And for the username, I'm just going to make it support@mypracticeprojects.com. I'll put in a password. And down here, I'm going to change this POP server to the name server within HostGator here. When we went down and we last used the second name server out of the two, if you remember, we used this one before. This time we're going to use the first one. In this case, it's ns8333.hostgator.com in my case. We'll copy that. We'll go back into this POP server area, and now we'll go to, and we'll leave the port as 110 again, and we'll click here. We'll skip this one. We'll click this, and we'll click this. And now I'm just going to click add account. And now you can see that we can check mail from other accounts, and we can check mail from here. Now if we go back to the inbox, we'll see that we have a new tab on the left side that says support@mypracticeprojects.com. So I can check email right within my normal Gmail account that's coming to this email. So you can check and send it from this email address. If you want to try it out and just test it to make sure it works, I recommend doing so. And if we want to try it out, we can just simply go to where it says compose, and it will say right here from My Practice Projects, support@mypracticeprojects.com. That's who it will say it's from, so you know that you're sending it from that email address when you're messaging someone now. And if you wanted to do a test, I can send one to my other email account just to verify that it's set up correctly, and I'll just call test, and I'll send an email. Now when I go over to my Yahoo email and I refresh this page, I'll see that I have a new email here, and it's called test, and it says My Practice Projects is who it's from. And you'll see it says support@mypracticeprojects.com. So this is how you can set up your Gmail to send and receive emails as your email name that you had set up. I really hope this helps you out. Feel free to ask any questions that you might have about this. Thanks, everyone. Hey everyone, thanks for going through this video tutorial course here on how to make a portfolio website. I hope this course was helpful for you and that you've been able to benefit from it. If you have, I would really appreciate it if you liked the video, and if you would like more WordPress tutorials, please subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be making a lot more at least once a week going forward, and I really hope to see you in a future video. Thanks again everyone.